Hari Om friends, welcome once again to Sanatan Dunya, your spiritual home. In this video, I shall be giving my commentary on the fifth sloka of Dakshinamurti Stotram. Dakshinamurti Stotram is a composition and spiritual work of wisdom by Adi Shankaracharya, who is one of the greatest masters of Sanatan Dharma and mainly as far as Advaita Vedanta is concerned. For those of you who have not yet listened to my commentaries on the 5 introductory prayers of this Dakshinamurti Stotram and the previous slokas of this work, I suggest you listen to them before continuing with this video. These videos are available in the video section of my channel and also in the playlist section of this channel in the playlist titled Adi Shankaracharya's Works of Vedantic Wisdom and Dakshinamurti Stotram with commentary in English, 11 parts. Before I go ahead and give my commentary on the fifth sloka of Dakshinamurti Stotram, I have a small request to make. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, then I suggest you do so that you may be updated about forthcoming videos uploaded to this channel. So let's move on. The fifth sloka of the Dakshinamurti Stotram is as follows. He who removes all the terrible misconceptions created by the deluding play of Maya in those who are intellectually innocent, as a woman, a child, a blind, or an idiot, and who consider the reality as their body, or their prana, or their senses, or their ever changing intellect, or as a mere void or through error, misconception, declare them to be the only reality. To him, the divine teacher Sri Dakshinamurti, is this prostration. The commentary of this sloka is as follows. The knowledge of Vedanta may seem a little difficult to understand for most of those who are new to the spiritual path. This is because the mind which hitherto was busy acquiring the ever-changing objects and pleasures of the world in search for happiness has only now started to value the spiritual knowledge and realization. Since such people are new to the spiritual path and not as much exposed to spiritual knowledge as those who have been on it for longer, they are thus bound to make some errors while trying to understand the Vedantic teachings. Thus, it is very important for such newcomers to approach a bona fide spiritual master or at least a person who has a grasp of the knowledge of Vedanta and can convey in simple language the breadth and depth of Vedantic wisdom. Hence, if one is serious about walking the spiritual path and acquiring spiritual knowledge, then one must find a bona fide spiritual master or Sadguru. Some of the best examples of bona fide spiritual masters are Lord Krishna himself, Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi, Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya, Shirdi Sai Baba, Sri Dakshinamurti, Narada Rishi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda, Swami Chinmayananda, Paramahamsa Yogananda, Mahavatar Babaji, and there are very many other realized masters who are competent to help all sincere truth seekers to achieve the highest happiness and freedom or moksha. Before making anybody a Sadguru and joining their spiritual organization, one must ensure to find out if such a master has himself realized the truth or not, and also whether he is capable of imparting the highest knowledge of Brahman and its realization as well. One should be careful not to make any ordinary person as his or her Sadguru. Especially in this modern age, there are many persons posing to be true masters and claim to be enlightened, and in the name of Dharma and Moksha are doing nothing but business and making money and enjoying pleasures, name, fame, and other such things. One should strictly avoid such fake gurus and should only accept a master who is free from desires, knows and has realized the truth, and is interested only in the spiritual welfare of the world and is not at all interested in making money, enjoying pleasures, traveling the world, and pursuing name and fame and other such worldly achievements. So, even after finding a realized master and pursuing spiritual knowledge under his wings, it is quite possible that the seeker might have some doubts regarding such knowledge. He also may find it hard to believe the Vedantic truths that the world is unreal and that he is himself God and other such lofty Vedantic declarations found in the Upanishads. Also, even after studying the scriptures under a Sadguru and his subordinate Acharyas, he may develop some misconceptions or erroneous knowledge. Some of the possibilities of such erroneous knowledge are being mentioned by Adi Shankara in this verse. For example, all of us, before starting off on the spiritual path, thought that we are the body and we are so and so, a limited finite person subject to birth and death. We didn't know that we are not the body, that we are the eternal and immortal soul. In fact, all of us thought that we were bodies and minds and that God lives in heaven and so on. So Adi Shankara is saying here that a realized master like Dakshinamurti is capable of removing such misconceptions in the minds of all those who approach him for spiritual knowledge. A true master not only verbalizes the knowledge of Vedanta, but is also extremely skillful in removing all the terrible misconceptions and wrong knowledge which the beginner or even intermediate and advanced seekers might be having. Like all other knowledge, Brahma Vidya is handed down from one generation of masters to their disciples, who in turn spread this knowledge to others. So the Sadguru and Acharyas have a very important and responsible role to play. They take this responsibility very seriously and are available to all their disciples at any time in order to clear their doubts and misconceptions and to provide the correct and clear knowledge of Vedanta or Brahma Vidya. Some of the examples of erroneous knowledge being quoted by Adi Shankara in this verse are that a seeker may consider themselves to be the body or their prana or a mere void or space and so on. The central teaching of Vedanta is that we are not the material body, mind or intellect or prana. We are the eternal, immortal, nameless, formless and infinite consciousness within and beyond the body. We are distinct from the body, mind and intellect. We are spirit, soul or Atman or Brahman. This Brahman that is nameless and formless is who we all are and is present in all the creatures of the creation. In fact, all the creatures of this creation are not their respective bodies and minds, but are the spirit, soul within and beyond the body. Also, the whole creation is unreal like a dream, and that it is the spirit called Atman or Brahman alone that is real. Everything else is unreal and dreamlike. It is in fact non-existent but appearing to exist due to our ignorance of the self that we are. The corresponding Mahavakya is Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva na Paraha, which translates as Brahman is real, the world is unreal. The Jiva is Brahman itself and not different. This is the truth. Also, in the second part of the above Mahavakya, Adi Shankara is saying that not only is the world unreal and we are that spirit soul, but the spirit soul that we are is the same as the all-pervading reality called God. In other words, soul and God are one and the same, although soul may seem to be only a part of God. There is no difference between the pot space and the universal space. Space is space. Similarly, there is no difference between soul and supersoul. Both are spirit or consciousness. It is this above central teaching and other related teachings which are found in all the Upanishads, Vedantic Shastras, and even in the Puranas and other Shastras. Finally, Adi Shankara says, to him the divine teacher Sri Dakshinamurti is this prostration. I have already commented in the previous videos about prostration and its importance. The more we prostrate with devotional bhava of feeling to our Sadgurus and Ishtadevtas, the more we shall get the fuel of inspiration and strength to pursue the spiritual path until the very end of our lives. Prostrations to Sri Krishna, to Sri Sankaracharya, to Sri Dakshinamurti, and to all the masters of Sanatan Dharma and other religions of the world. So friends, here ends my commentary on the 5th sloka of Dakshinamurti Stotram. I shall be coming up with commentaries on the following slokas of this work in the days to come. So stay tuned to this channel, and if you like this commentary, then hit the like button. Also, kindly subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so that you may be updated about forthcoming videos uploaded to this channel. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day ahead. Hari Om.